Hey everybody, Cheryl here from Healthy Living Gardens to Table, and today we are going to be making cream of broccoli soup without the cream. I know, and it's going to taste amazing, I promise you. It'll be nice and thick and rich and creamy and all without the cream. So let's get started and show you how this is done. First of all, we're going to have, you can start out with frozen or fresh broccoli, and I'm going to go ahead and do fresh broccoli today. The recipe that I post is going to call for probably a Vidalia onion. I had a leek here today, so I thought I would use this because I really enjoy the flavor of this. Sometimes the leeks can get a little sandy, so you want to make sure when you're cutting them, for one, you want to make sure you're using from here to here. You don't want to use this darker green part because it's a little tough. So I'm going to take that off and just toss that. You can also use that in vegetable stock if you want to make your own vegetable stock. The leavings of all your vegetables is a really great way when you save them. So I'm going to put this pot on a medium heat, heat that up while I'm chopping all these vegetables. Pour a little olive oil in there, and it calls for just a little bit of butter. It'll make it a little creamy, and it makes it so onion fries down a little bit better. My butter was frozen, so I didn't realize it, so I chopped it up. So it calls for 2 tablespoons of butter, so it's about 2. And then go ahead and chop this up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop this leek up, and I'm going to put it in some water here, just so that it can, if there's any sand in there, that it'll get it out of there before you put it in your dish, because that's not good to have all that sand in there. Leeks is a little bit of a strong flavor. See, if you look at there, I don't know if you can see that, there's the dirt that's in there. So you really don't need a whole lot, and I don't want a real strong oniony flavor. Just a little hint, so that it's. And then they go into little, if you push on them, they'll go into little cute little ringlets. So we'll quickly soak that. And while that's going, I'm going to get my garlic ready. So it's close to 1 clove of garlic. I think this might be 2, but we'll see when I open it up. Yep, that's 2 hugging each other in there, so it'll be fine. If you just cut off the end and give it a quick snap, then it'll come out of the skin pretty easily. Sounds like my butter oil mixture is done. I have a lot of clients that are asking for dairy-free alternatives, and since I don't do dairy, cheese or milk or anything like that, I do, grass-fed butter doesn't seem to bother me, and I don't use a whole lot. I'm sure if I used a whole lot it would bother me, but so doing a dairy alternative in this recipe was something I was kind of excited to show. Okay, so what I do for my, you can always just mince your garlic, but what I like to do is I like to take a grater and hold it over the pan and just grate it right over there, because nobody likes to bite into a piece of garlic. Even though this is going to get blended in the blender before the time is over, it's still, it'll cook better. Give it a quick swipe with your fingers, put the rest in there. Make sure you're not going against the grate so you're not hurting your fingers. Okay, I'm going to put the onions in here. We're just going to give them a quick saute. It's not going to be in there really long while we're cutting the rest of the veggies. Alright, I'm going to give it a quick squeeze just so that that water's not splashing on me. Wasn't too bad. There wasn't a whole lot of dirt in there. Okay, next I'm going to put in some celery. And I gave it a quick wash off too, because it's, celery gets dirt on it as well. We'll give that a quick chop. And then drop that into the pot. Give it a quick stir. What you just want to do is you want the vegetables just to be tender. Again, if you don't have a leek, if you wanted to put a regular onion in there, that's totally fine. It's up to you. So what gives it its creaminess is not just the butter, because there really isn't that much butter in it. It's a red onion, or a red potato. So this red skin potato is the thing that actually brings it together and makes it creamy. So instead of putting heavy cream in it, you don't need to. This is going to give you that creaminess that cream of broccoli usually has. I mean, it's not going to taste like rich, creamy, heavy cream. Like, to me, that's hard on my stomach. It's just, there's a lot. But it's going to have that creaminess, and I can guarantee you, with the flavor that we have going on here, you're not going to miss it. I promise you. So we'll give this a quick dice. And I want to dice it small enough so that when we're cooking it, it cooks down quick enough where with the broccoli at the same time, because we don't want the broccoli to be mushy. I'm going to throw that in. And give that a quick stir. And put some pepper in there. About a half a teaspoon, and then about a half a teaspoon of salt. Where's my teaspoon? There it is. Because you can always adjust later. You know, just remember you can always add more salt, but you can't take it out. So that's want to make sure. Now it calls for a tablespoon of parsley, fresh parsley. So I'm going to give this a quick chop. This might be a little bit more than a tablespoon, so let's see. Should be fine. Now when I cut up any kind of herbs, I always actually kind of roll it like you would, I don't know, you like those old movies where they roll their own cigars. So I feel like if you just roll it like you would a tobacco cigar, and just pinch it really, really tight, and then you give it a chop, it actually dices it up really fine, easier for you. So give that a quick chop. Then again, this doesn't have to be perfection because you're putting it in a blender afterwards, so it's going to emulsify it in the blender anyway. If this was a dish where you had to worry about that, then I would say, you know, give it a little bit better of a chop. But it's not. Put that in there. I just love the smell of garlic and onions cooking together. It's just amazing. Alright. What I'm trying to do is get a little bit more of a caramelization on that onion before I go ahead and add the stock. So the stock that I'm using is a vegetable broth. You can use chicken stock in a box. Whatever you have on hand is totally fine. It's up to you. It's going to be 32 ounces. Again, I will link in the description below. I will post the recipe. So give this a quick chop. You want about a pound, or it was like, I think 32 ounces of frozen spinach is what I measured it out to be. And what I'm going to do is, while this is going to be a creamy broccoli soup, I'm going to chunk this to small pieces when I put it in there. And when I start emulsifying it in the blender, I'm going to leave a couple of the pieces out so that you have just nice hunks of broccoli in your soup. 'Cause I like that. I didn't want it totally like just a cream. You want to know that you have vegetables. I like it that way anyway, as long as they're tender. Get overboard. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and I think I'm going to do this other piece. What you could do too is if you have that extra piece, you could leave that extra piece out, and then after you blend it, you could put it in afterwards. Could have done that if you like the big chunky like I do. Okay, so this is looking good. Okay, so now that that's had time to cook down and get all the vegetables tender, I'm going to go ahead and put it in the Vitamix. I put it way over there so you're not listening to the noise, because I know Vitamixes are really loud. But what I did is I let it cool just a little bit because I don't want that hot liquid in here. So you're going to fill it as much as you possibly can. And again, I'm going to have some stuff still in there, so if you can see it'll be a little chunky, which I like. Okay. Now, if you don't have a Vitamix, that's okay. You can go ahead and use a regular blender. It works just as well, or immersion blender, whatever you have. And that's it. To me, it's one of the easiest soups that I make. I'm going to put the heat back on that, bring that up to a little bit of a boil, and then give it a quick taste. Okay. So again, this is not going to be like a thick, creamy soup. It is going to be, it's a little bit more watery than regular cream of broccoli, because it's not cream of broccoli soup. It's just broccoli soup, which is fine. And like I said, it will taste very decadent because of the potato that's in there and the leeks that are in there and the little bit of butter that we used. All right, this is steaming. I don't want to burn my mouth. Okay. I don't know about you, but when I eat soup, I eat it out of a mug better than a bowl. I don't know. Comment below. Are you team mug or team bowl? All right. Let's see here. In my family, we like to have our soup with oyster crackers. We don't use just the regular saltines. It's the oyster cracker thing. I don't know why we're so particular about that, but I guess it kind of, you don't need to crumble them and put them in. So let me try this. Taste it for seasoning. Make sure that it's good. It's good. I think that I'll probably use a little bit more salt. Just a little. Just do a little in here. A little in there. Okay. This is one of my favorite soups. Here in Michigan, we do. In January, it's a soup month for us. It gets cold here, so let's try this again. See, it has the chunks of the broccoli in it. I don't know if you can see that. Nice chunks of broccoli in it. Don't miss the cream, not once. So if you like content like this, please make sure you like and subscribe and share it with a friend who might enjoy this type of content. Again, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.